الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر.
This is the elephant that's in the room. No one's talking about what that material comes from. Did he go to certain sources? And the answer is actually he did. He went to books like this, Sahih Bukhari, which is the compilation of the sayings of the Prophet. He also went to the life of the Prophet, the Siratul Rasulullah, written by Ibn Hisham in the 9th century. He also went to Al-Tabari's Tafsir, and he also went to this book, the Quran. In fact, a good bit of the material can be found in this very book, which then belies the question of what's causing all this anger. They say it's mocking the Prophet. If it's mocking the Prophet, then they've got to ask, where does it come from? And what I want to do is I want to look at the 20 scenes that are in that trailer, and I want to show each one of the scenes, and when you look at them, you'll find that of the 20 scenes, 17 of them can be traced back to these traditions, can be traced back to the Quran. Now, we're going to just put them real quickly and subtitle them at the bottom of the screen, because I don't want to sit and unpack each one. I want you to look at it and see if I'm not correct on this, and let's just go through each one of the 20 scenes. I'll do it very quickly. You can see the subtitles, write them down, go and see if this material is not there, and see if we should be asking another question, which I'll come to at the end. The first scene, Muhammad is referred to as an orphan whose father is unknown. That comes straight out of the Quran itself. Surah 93, ayah 6 refers to the fact that he's an orphan. Ibn Kathir in the stories of the Prophet refers to the fact that his father Abdullah died before he was born, that even his mother Amina then died soon after he was born. He was brought up by his uncle Abu Talib. Ibn Hisham Sirah 23 refers to that. Interestingly, there is even a question as to who his father is. In the second scene, Muhammad accidentally shows his privates to Khadija, his wife, in the tent. That I don't find any source for, and I think that was probably just created out of thin air. The third scene, Khadija tests the spirit. He has him going around her legs, and she bares her legs, and she asks, is this the spirit? Is he in the room now? He says, yes, yes. And then he puts his head towards her crotch. That's a well-known scene, although that particular part of it is not what is found in Ibn Hisham's part 2, pages 74 and 75. In Ibn Hisham, when Muhammad comes back from getting his first revelation, Khadija tests him to see whether or not that's a spirit, has him sit on one leg, asks the question, has him sit on another leg, asks him the same question, and then disrobes. And when he asks, was that a spirit? And of course, the spirit is not there, and Muhammad says, no, he can no longer see it. Then she knows this is an angel, because angels don't stay around once a woman disrobes. So that is a well-known story that's found within the Siratul Rasulullah. Also Sahih Bukhari, Volume 1, Hadith 3, and also Volume 96, 1, 2, and 3 also refer to that same story. Outside the tent, he then looks at a donkey, and he speaks to a donkey and gives him the name Yafur, and asks him if he likes women, and the donkey does not like women, and laughs about it. That comes straight out of Ibn Kathir's The Blessing and the End, chapter 6, entitled The Conversation of the Donkey. Again, nothing that is made up. Interestingly, Waraqah ibn Nawfal, the cousin of Khadija, that's standing there, makes him claim, and this is the fifth scene, where he says that he's going to help Muhammad with the Quran. Now that is incorrect. Waraqah ibn Nawfal doesn't help him with the Quran, but gives him authority as a prophet. But the next thing he says is that much of the Quran comes straight out of the Bible, the Old Testament and the New Testament, Jewish accounts. Now that's fascinating, because that's exactly true. Surah 5, Ayah 31, the story of Cain and Abel, comes from a Targum of Jonathan ben Uzziah, a Jewish apocryphal account. Surah 5:32, the blood of Abel, is taken from the Jewish Mishnah, Bar Sanhedrin, chapter 4, verse 5. Surah 27, Ayah 17 to 44, the story of Solomon and Sheba and the Hoopoe bird, is taken from a Jewish folklore account called the second Targum of Esther. Surah 19, ayah 22 to 26, where Jesus eats and pulls down a palm tree. That's from the lost books of the Bible. In Surah 19, ayah 29 to 33, where Jesus speaks from the cradle, comes from the first gospel, the infancy of Jesus Christ. And Surah 3, ayah 49, where Jesus breathes life into a clay birds and they fly up into the air. That comes out of the Thomas's gospel, the infancy of Jesus Christ. These are sectarian writings. These are Jewish apocryphal writings. Many of the stories can be traced back to these 2nd, 3rd, and 4th century writings. The 6th scene where the inspiration ceased once Waraka died, that's not true. It's not that it ceased, it's paused. And we find that in Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 1, hadith number 3. In the 7th scene where Muhammad wants to commit suicide by throwing himself off the mountain. You can find that in Al-Tabari, the Tafsir of Al-Tabari, volume 6, page 76. And Al-Zuhri also refers to that incident. In scene 8, where he says that they may kill the men and capture the women, that's found right through the Quran. There are many references, sword verses, in Surah 9, ayah 20, Surah 9, ayah 5, Surah 9, ayah 29. Surah 47, ayah 4, which says to cut off the heads of the unbeliever. Surah 8, ayah 13. Oh, there's a whole litany of them. There's about 149 of these verses in the Quran. Too many to talk about right now. As far as capturing women, Surah 4, ayah 24 says you can take those women that your right hand possesses. That means prisoners of war, female prisoners of war. So in the scene number 9, where Muhammad allows his men to take children and do with them what they wish, that is not source. I can't find any source for that. In scene number 10, where Muhammad is permitted to have whatever women he wants, you can find that in Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 6, hadith number 311. Surah 33, ayah 50 to 51 says, O Prophet, it is lawful to you to take a believing woman if she offers herself to you, the Prophet. So that comes straight out of the Quran as well. In scene 11, where Muhammad says it is not enough to simply believe in God, but one must believe in God and Muhammad, Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 6, hadith number 300 says that. Sahih Muslim, 0284 refers to that. Sahih Bukhari, also volume 1, hadith number 13 also refers to that. The Jews must pay either extortion money or move to Palestine. In Surah 9, ayah 29 gives support for that they must pay the jizya tax. But the reference they must leave Palestine if they do not submit, that's in Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 3, hadith number 531. One of the more contentious scenes is found in the 13th scene, where Aisha's father allows his 9-year-old daughter to marry Muhammad. He was 53 at that time. You can find many references. We can just put them on the screen down there. Sahih al-Bukhari especially talks about this quite a few times. Volume 7, hadith number 68, and also 88. There are so many references. We're not going to bother with too many of them. You can look at them up yourself. The reference that Muhammad is in the 15th scene, where Muhammad fondles Zainab and then decides to cancel Zayd's adoption, that he then takes Zayd's wife. Surah 33, ayah 36 to 38, specifically verse 37, refers to that incident and refers to the fact that Aisha gets upset with him for taking the wife of his adopted son. Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 9, hadith number 516, goes into it much more detail, gives you background to it, so you can find it within that tradition. The ripping in half of an elderly woman, that is found in Ibn Hisham's biography of the Prophet, when 2 camels take and split her legs apart. That's found right in his biography, page 665, under his orders. 17th scene, where Muhammad orders men to cut off the arms and legs of the husband of Safiya. Again, no source for that. I cannot find any reference to that. That Muhammad has a Jewish man killed in front of his wife. That's again found in his biography, in Ibn Hisham's biography of the Muhammad, page 177, that you can find in Guillaume's translation of that reference. The 19th scene, where Hafsa catches Muhammad in bed and then chases him around. Now, the chasing around is not necessarily part of the tradition, but certainly the tradition is there that Hafsa finds Muhammad in her bed when she comes back unexpectedly, and he's there with the Miriam, his Coptic wife. That you can find in the Mishkat al-Masabi, volume 2, pages 680 to 681. And Surah 66, ayah 1 refers to that incident. And the last one, where it says that every non-Muslim is an infidel, and their lands, children are Muslim spoils. Surah 8, ayah 39 refers to that. Surah 4, ayah 24 talks about that. Sahih Bukhari, volume 5, 448a also refers to that. Now, what are we doing here, and why is it we're giving you all these references? The reason is very simple. We do that because we want you to see that almost all this film, though it as bad as it was made, does refer back to these traditions. Al-Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Ibn Dawud, Al-Tabari, and, of course, the Quran itself. If Muslims are going to get angry and get so hostile, have so much hostility towards, they need to ask the simple question: does this material exist in your own traditions? If so, is it really mockery?